I would like to introduce chair for the session, Dr. Kamal Soi, is member National Road Safety Council, Ministry of Road, Transport and Highway, Government of India. With him, Mr. Phil Allen, VP Sales, Asia Pacific, TomTom, New Zealand. I would also like to call Dr. VK Gahlot, Urban Transport Expert, Department of Public Works, Jaipur. Now I request Dr. Kamal Soi to take the session forward.
Thank you, Phil, Mr. Gahlot, ladies and gentlemen. Road safety and traffic management. It appears that, the world is celebrating United Nations Road Safety Week. And the theme is slow down. And maybe this session looks like we are slowing down, maybe a little more than we should anticipate. Anyway, let us see that this serious psycho-socio-economic issue is discussed in the same way as it should be. I have with me, on my left-hand side, Mr. Phil Allen. He is Vice President Sales, APAC, TomTom, New Zealand. Deals in map, routing, traffic, web smart cities, and mobile solutions across the Asia Pacific region. He specialized in transportation sector in delivering smart traffic solutions using big data from TomTom's 500 million GPS probes to understand live traffic challenges. Earlier, he was the MD of GeoSmart and helped in delivering mapping, traffic traveler information, and geospatial web solutions across New Zealand and Australia. On my right-hand side, I have Dr. VK Gahlot, who is urban transport expert, Department of Public Works, Jaipur. Is currently associated with PWD, Govt of Rajasthan, Jaipur. He's also honorary director of CMG Center for Research and Sustainable Development, Rajasthan. He has a huge experience in the field of academics, research development and execution of roads and highway projects. His research interest and area of working includes highway and traffic engineering, public transport planning, pedestrian and non-motorized traffic planning, road safety audit, computer simulation and modeling and application of geographical information system to transportation engineering. More than 22 technical papers, international, national journals. He has also attended many international, national conferences, workshops, seminars, and summits in India and abroad as keynote speaker. Let's all welcome our speakers with a thunder applause. Let's all cheers for them. Now, I am pumping into the shoes of one of my mentors, Dr. Dinesh Mohan, who would have been the chair for today. But I believe he's also slow in anticipating the issues which is coming in our way in road safety. Let me formally start this session now. I was talking to Phil, and Phil says, once the conference starts, the first day, a lot of people comes and attend. And then this graph starts coming down and down and down. And then few good sessions and few important sessions, we still have some good audience. But I believe this audience is good enough to drive a message when we are celebrating the United Nations Road Safety Week. Ladies and gentlemen, this world is suffering the most from one thing, that is the road traffic accidents. We feel cancer, AIDS, heart attacks, tuberculosis, many other diseases, they kill people. But road crashes kills over 1.4 million people every year on the roads. And these tragic happenings are more so in developing countries, in low and middle income countries like ours. When we talk of India, I was in a conference in China, and sometime in conferences you start looking here and there, and suddenly I heard a voice, India is number one. Oh, good, India is number one. Your head is little bit like this. Then after few seconds, India is number one in road accidental deaths in the world. Yes, it's a fact. We are number one in road accidental deaths in the world. We lose around 150,000 people every year, which is approximately 11% of world fatalities. And the saddest part is, India being a young country, 60% of these fatalities are happening in the age group of 15 to 29. I, being part of National Road Safety Council, which is the apex body of road safety in the country, has traveled 23 states in last 18 months, and I found this issue of road accidental deaths is nowhere in picture. When the earlier government was in power, so there was a seminar, we had a meeting with the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Montek Singh Ahluwalia. I put him a question that Mr. Ahluwalia and Dr. Manmohan Singh, you are the best brains in economics in the world. India loses around 2 to 3% of its GDP because of road accidents and road accidental deaths, which comes to around 170,000 crores, little less than our defense budget. Are we doing something for it? They both didn't have any answer. As soon as this new government came into existence, a cabinet minister, Gopinath Munde, lost his life in a tragic road crash. And after that, it appears that this government is trying to do something for road safety. Although it is not apparent in the results, we still have the number of deaths has still grown by 4% than the previous year. We still are losing a valuable human resource. But still there is a hope that something will happen. Before coming for this session, I had a meeting with the Supreme Court Road Safety Committee. And the chairman was telling me that, Dr. Soi, maybe we have been able to reduce in the first quarter somewhere in the range of 5 to 8% road accidental deaths. So the first quarter has been good for India as far as road accidental deaths are concerned. Maybe once when I was traveling to various states, I always was putting the question to media people as well as to the activists and the officers and bureaucrats and politicians, that why there is no focus, why there is no political will, why there is no bureaucratic will, why there is no developmental will to stop this massacre on the roads. And surprisingly, the findings are, people says, once you get votes by offering 2 rupees a kilo atta and 2 rupees a kilo rice and a pressure cooker, why the hell you need to promote road safety? Why the hell people will demand road safety from you? But the fact is, we are losing very, very valuable human resource on the roads. And yesterday before, a minister in Andhra Pradesh government lost his son. Similarly, India has lost one president, ex-president of India because of a road crash. Many ministers, even one cabinet minister, lost his life in a road crash. We are losing. We are losing people day after day, and one jumbo jet is crashing every day on our roads. And that jumbo jet is carrying over 500 people. If we look at the world scenario, we lose over 3,800 people every day because of road crashes. And believe you me, when we ask people in various states, in various religious states, India is a very religious country and devoted country, people have an answer. This was will of the God. They say this was will of the God. I asked them, the God in Sweden, Norway, Netherlands and UK is much more powerful than your God? They don't have any answer. But the fact is, even now in our country, people take these road accidents or road crashes as will of the God. And one surprising fact, I heard from a community, they say, if we die in a sudden accidental death, as per Hindu mythology, we will attain moksha. I'm telling you, these are the findings of my year and a half in ministry. The people, they make so many stories, but believe you me, all these road crashes are predictable and preventable. They are not at all will of the God. I always equate these road crashes and road accidents as murders. Anything which can be predicted, which can be prevented, cannot be called as an accident. These are not accidents. Sometimes the fault is of the road, sometimes the fault is of the vehicle, sometimes the fault is of the driver. Whenever the research is done about the causes of the road crashes, most of the research findings are, in India also, that 76% it is the fault of the driver. In US also, 80% is the fault of the driver. Do we really feel that this is the fault of the driver? A driver who's been given a truck that is 20 years of age, that is passed, the fitness is given clandestinely by exchanging money. He is driving a truck on the road. The road is not designed properly. The road has potholes, and still this driver is driving. And if we make a crash, we call it is the fault of the driver. We haven't heard in India, Phil, that any road construction agency is being penalized or accused of a road crash. We haven't heard ever in India any automobile manufacturer has been accused of manufacturing a faulty vehicle. We haven't heard in India that any enforcing agency have been accused or penalized for not enforcing the rules properly. Although United Nations started Decade of Action in the year 2011 with a target of 50% reduction by 2020, but in India, although we adopted that resolution, but still in last 6 years, our figure is growing, growing, and growing. We have not followed a safe system approach. We have not followed the 5 pillars of road safety: safer driver, safer roads, safer vehicle, road safety management, and emergency crash care. I do not know how many of you might have heard of forgiving roads. In real road safety terms, we equate a road as a mother. Like a mother forgives the mistakes of his children, similarly, road forgives the driver. We do not follow the guidelines of clear zones on the sides of the roads, whether on highways or in the urban areas. Road designing is given the least importance when we talk about road safety and transportation. 5 of India's best-selling cars failed crash test. But still, those cars are moving on Indian roads. Even now, just few days back, in a crash test, one of the small SUV failed crash test. But in spite of all the difficulties and all the lacunas in our system, we still have a hope against hope that this government is moving in the right direction. The policies are good. But to prevent road accidents and ensure road safety on the roads, we need, in India, surgical strike like it happened in the case of demonetization. You cannot implement road safety efforts just by saying it. It has to come to the top, come from the top, and it has to percolate down to the lowest, to the last leg of our person to obey rules. I always say, I was in Satyamev Jayate when Amir Khan asked me, Dr. Soi, tell me how can we reduce number of accidents? My answer was, for the success of a movie, you always say 3 E's. Vidya Balan said in a movie that the success of a movie depends on 3 E's: entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. Similarly, in India, in order to ensure road safety and to prevent and reduce number of accidents, we also need at this point of time 3 E's. That is enforcement, enforcement, enforcement. If we are able to enforce the rules, whether they are in automobile manufacturing, in road construction, in ensuring the Motor Vehicle Act, etc., we'll be able to control and reduce number of accidents and make sure that our roads are safe. Thank you very much. Now I'll invite, let's have some different flavor from a different planet. Not planet, but a continent. I'll invite Mr. Phil Allen, VP Sales, APAC, TomTom, to share his ideas. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sol. What I want to do is help to explain to you how TomTom can help. Obviously, there's some concerning statistics in India, and obviously we would like to help. So what I want to do is just give you a quick overview of TomTom, what we're trying to do globally, and what we're doing in India, focused on traffic management and how we can help on the traffic safety side. Okay. So firstly, we are a large company. We have a central office in Pune. We're a Netherlands-based company but we deliver maps across 160 odd countries and live traffic, historical traffic, traffic analysis in 54 countries. Okay. Our core products in this area that can be used in traffic safety, traffic management, is using obviously our maps of India, using our real-time live traffic data, which updates every 2 minutes, using our historical data, and what I call historical is being able to look at yesterday's data. All right? So if there's been an accident, an incident, you can, congestion, you can drill down on the data, you can understand what's going on, what actually caused that, and then try to actually design better strategies, better improvement on the roads, visibility, whatever may be required to reduce that incident happening again, and learning by that. Okay. And also we have our web services, so we can stream this data to your systems, to your servers, to the public, to the consumer through devices, and also used in obviously traffic management and variable message signs on the roads to be able to get the information out to the driver. All right. And this is just a slide quickly just to show you the range of clients that are using our products from software through to the hardware and also our technologies, our live traffic data. So the first thing to be able to do this properly is we need large sources of data. And what we basically do is we collect data from mobile phones, from portable navigation devices, from in-car navigation devices, from fleet management systems. We collect that, we get that data every 1 second to 30 seconds. We process that and we push that back out to our platforms and to our clients using that data every 2 minutes. So this here slide shows you the growth we've had in collecting GPS probes. And many of you guys are just sitting here today will have something like an Apple phone. You're actually a supplier, all right? So we're pulling all this data, we're processing it. We're processing over 11 billion data points a day coming from over 500 million devices globally. And that includes data coming right throughout India. That gets processed into our system and then made available to, as I said, licensed road controlling authorities, traffic management, traffic police, through to the consumer. Okay, and this just gives you a little bit of an idea of the volume of data, of big data that's being used in a corporation to update the maps and improve the traffic data that we deliver to you guys. Okay, this here is just to give you a visibility of the coverage we have across India. So you can see that it's very India-wide. It's very concentrated around, obviously, population centres, but it shows that we've got live data. And remember, this is data being updated, going live, coming through to us every 1 to 30 seconds. And using that, we then, the first thing we do is build our maps of this data. So it's coming in, we can process data, we can look at patterns in the data, we can see where people are driving, where we didn't have a road, we can update the road, we can adjust the posted speed limit. So we actually keep improving the data from all these sources to make a rich data set across India. Using that, and then we build the traffic products. So the first thing to look at is the live traffic. So in live traffic, we can stream that data and see where the flows, where the congestion is. We can tell you the length of a traffic jam, we can tell you the amount of delay, and we also do prediction on when we think it's going to clear. We offer other products like the historical, speed cameras, weather and parking, and these things are all coming to India in time. One of the things that we do is we automate the whole system. So this is not about people sitting at computers trying to actually create these traffic events. The system is totally automated, even in India. So we're seeing the data come in. We can see here what we call the free flow, the speed of typically when there's no congestion, and then we monitor that automatically against what we set as a jam threshold. And usually it's 56% of the free flow. And once that hits that, an incident is automatically created, and that goes in our system, and we monitor that jam right through its life cycle. All right? And that is the information that you can use in road controlling authorities and trying to better manage the data, or whoever you are, such authority. We then build products, solutions for you. So this here, for example, is a dashboard for Delhi, and we've done this for many, many cities. And this is showing how you can look at our traffic flow data, look at our incident data. The red arrows are showing the length of the jams, and then we actually do a dashboard that gives you an indication of the status of the city, updating every 2 minutes. Now you can actually see this live. It's actually free live, and a site called city.tomtom.com. Welcome to go there, find New Delhi or find the key city that you're interested in. We don't do every city in this, but we do key cities around the world to demonstrate our technology and let you understand the health of your transportation system in your city. We also, within this platform, do things like not just incidents, but the flow, but we look at the jams, we look at intersection analysis, and then we can bring in other tools. This is a slide just to give you a cross-section of the types of services and products that we can supply for you to improve your smart city transportation systems. Okay. So when we drill down the data a little bit more, we can go and look at, and this is a snapshot of New Delhi on the 20th of 4th at 9 a.m. I think it was, no, 10 a.m. And you can see the incidents. You can click on any incident, and you can see that I've selected one incident, and that's showing that the level of delay is 230 meters for a time delay of 4 minutes 18. Right? So that's the level of content we have, because if you use things like loops or SCATS traffic systems, you only know what's happening there. Because of the detail, the volume of probe data we have coming through, we actually can see all the way along the segment. We can actually get this accurate measurements for you. So you've got KPIs to measure and to perform. I'll give you an example. Just doing a pilot project in Bangkok at the moment for the Bangkok Thai traffic police. And they've got set KPIs to monitor 21 routes, and every morning they have to report on the performance of those routes through the last day and then what's happening in the current day. And that's a key measure on how well they're performing in managing the network and keeping the traffic flow. Now Bangkok is rated, we review 390 cities around the world every year for traffic congestion, and they actually are rated as the second worst. So there's another statistic. Mexico City was worse. We'll start reporting on Indian cities next year on the level of congestion and helping you to understand as a benchmark where you're at and how you need to improve. And that's what this information is about, giving you the detail. Okay. Here's some other cities just to give you a feel of the coverage we have and the level and ability to drill down and assist your cities. And please come and talk to us, reach out to us. We have a stand here in Hall 11, but also you can find us on the internet. You can reach us through our Pune office, but talk to us about your problems and challenges and we'll help you. We're working on a number of smart city opportunities, and we really want this to be, a proven solution to help you reduce your incidents, reduce your deaths, and improve your cities. Okay. This product is about to go live as a commercial product in about a couple of months. It's being tested by a number of road authorities around the world at the moment, but it gives you the ability to see live what's going on in your traffic data. You can see the vehicles driving along the road, you can see the probes, and the red areas are jams, right? And we're actually here, we're giving a prediction on when it will clear, and it gives us the ability to monitor this and see what's going on, and you can interact with the system. And that gives traffic managers a very powerful tool to manage your traffic flow in your city. Okay. In historical stuff, we do analysis, and this just gives you an idea about analysing routes, analysing areas, understanding what's going on, understanding movements across the city, what we call origin destination, to understand what's going on. I'm just going to speed up a little bit here. So you can drill into our database, and remember this database is holding 18 trillibytes of data at the moment, and by adding about 8 billion GPS points every day. Here's an example of analysis of a route in Delhi, and over here I have a time distance plot analysing it over 24 hours and across the route, and you can see we've got a big traffic jam between 5:30 to about 9 p.m. On that route. There's a way to be able to go analyse and monitor and review every day, every month, going back in history, the data. So in India, we now hold data for about a year of historical data, and we'll keep improving going forward. In other countries, we go back as far as 8 years. So India data will just keep getting improved and improved. We can then drill down in a route, and we can look at very detailed statistics on that data. We can understand about whether it's a fleet vehicle and what's happening. We can look at the slowest vehicles, the fastest vehicles, the amount of delay that's going on, and understand it at a segment by segment level along that route. So we can actually get that road network working better. We can also monitor all sorts of routes, and we can have a live dashboard showing us the performance of those routes every 2 minutes. This is an example in Sydney for Sydney Airport. We were monitoring 42 routes. We're also doing that, as I said, for Thai police, and we can do that in India. And we can actually see how that's performing against, and we color code it so you can see that. We can then broadcast that out to the drive on the road, and obviously to be used in traffic management centres. All right, so that's me. There's a couple of websites that are useful, public, free access to understand what we're doing, and appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, Alan. Now I invite Dr. K.K. Gahlot, Urban Transport Expert, Department of Public Works in Rajasthan, Jaipur.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Dr. Soi already explained, we are slowing down. We're not slowing down the vehicle, but we are slowing down the attendance in this session. And as it seems, the road safety and safety aspect has given least priority in when scheduling this event also. We are more interested in building roads, flyovers, and new concept like skywalk and all. But we are least bothered about safety and safety aspect. So it's my urge for the organizers to keep these issues top of the list so we can have good discussion overall. Okay, friends, now today I think this is last presentation with my thoughts for your thoughts with some ice-breaking session. Smart Safe Series will discuss road safety scenario, and we will definitely discuss road what are the challenges and opportunities, and I'll talk about my city first, and we'll go out with the way forward. So with the development of wheel, from wood wheel to the tubeless tire, we have developed a lot, but we have come up with the problems simultaneously. These are the situation not only in India but all over across the globe. Cities are full of cars, human beings are out of the city, and this age is called urban age. So now we are urban age. But this is the situation. This is typical Indian roads. We're leading to smart cities. Cattle, big elephant. Everybody has the right to move, walk on a road. So it makes the situation pretty difficult for the planners, for the modelers. Basically, the modeling is very difficult to include such kind of constraint in the modeling, whereas PTV, VSOM are very difficult to model these issues. And this is the reality. Daily headlines, the daily national newspapers, bus crashes and all. So every day out, we are seeing the difficulties all over the road. And situation becoming more worse. It was speculated in 2004 that road traffic fatalities was a major cause at the level 9, but now experts suggested it will be the 5th major cause in coming days. So it is the alarming situation. And Dr. Soi discussed, the trend is continuously increasing. Now bother is bother about the situation, not about the policy makers, but the experts from the different platforms that started pitching about how these trends can be declined, can be reversed. In developed countries, they started working towards it. And it is a study, increased motorization leads to more traffic deaths. Every newspaper has got ad about the new vehicles introducing. Every company is launching new car. So we are increasing number of motorized vehicle on the road. So definitely the increase of crashes going to be definitely increased. And accident has become not only the menace for the public authorities, not for the planners, not for the engineers. It has become a public health crisis all over the globe. So it was studied like 1.8 million people died just because of AIDS, and 1.3 million road traffic crashes. People got died just because of road traffic crashes. And tuberculosis is left behind, malaria is left behind. So it is the major growing issues of the health crisis. So WHO itself has started toward working to reduce the number of crashes all over the world. So you will wonder, like Bhopal gas tragedy in late 1984, that only 20,000 people died. Latur earthquake, 19,000 people died, and Bhuj Kutch earthquake, where 13,000 people died. Asian tsunami, where 245 lakh people died. And the latest Uttarakhand floods, only 5,007 people reported died. But in 2015, India, road crashes reported 146,133. Around 1.5 lakh, 150 people died just because of road accident. So just speculate how the situation is becoming more worsening, more worse. So it's a silent disaster. So we are working on silent disaster. So it's the most alarming situation. We start working toward the situation. And road crash scenario in India, 2015, 1.46, 133 deaths every year, and just account 11% of global road fatalities, and it accounts 400 deaths per day. So it's just similar to a jumbo jet with no survivor. So this is the situation. And on the global scenario, some 3,500 people, those who left this morning for walking, for biking, and for the job, they will not return their home by evening. So this is the situation. Every day we are losing 3,500 productive workforce a day across the globe. So this is the situation, and this includes our young children's, young labor, young workforce. So this is the most difficult situation right now. Causes are, we already known, poorly maintained vehicles, poor traffic discipline, education, poorly designed, maintained roads, poor level of enforcement, and poor primitive traffic management, mixed traffic conditions, as we have seen in the picture. So we'll discuss more about the level of enforcement and primitive traffic management, how we can improve it. And recently, the most distracting factor, which is distracted driver, including the road crashes causes. 47% people have receives call on their mobile phone while driving. So this is the biggest menace now on roads. Youngsters have started using mobile after introducing smartphones. So this is again a new factor. But there is a ray of hope after 100 smart cities are coming up. People have started working toward this. There is a new solutions, and let's policymakers, they have given thought to these road safety issues in the smart city planning, because it is one of the vertical they have identified, like transportation and sanitation, and after the security, it is one of the issues. So many agencies, agencies from abroad, they have come up with solutions to reduce the crashes and to improve the traffic management in the coming smart cities. So here is a safe city. What is safe city approach? So what is the solution we are discussing here is how to develop the safe cities, not only account of road crashes only, on the general vulnerability in the urban areas. So it rests on three pillars. First is building urban safety through urban vulnerabilities reduction. Second is building urban safety through urban planning, management, and governance, improving the governance of safety. If we are improving three pillars and we are focusing on these three kinds of policy, so we can lead to this safe city approach. So what is the ecosystem of safe city? It has got surveillance equipments, network connectivity all around the city, data centers having servers, storage, and application facility. It has the command viewing centers and collaborating, monitoring among different agencies, change management, and capacity building. So this is this kind of the ecosystem we are building in the smart cities for the cities are coming in the way. So it is a general architecture for surveillance. What is the command center? It is an IP linked with the NVR network video recorder. These are connected with the analog cameras, analog fixed cameras, some PTZ cameras, and they all collect information and they analyze and they take the action according to this data analytics. So these things are now coming up in India also. Many cities have planned for this kind of architecture and under these smart city projects. But there are some speed breakers, some reluctancy in these projects, project planning and strategy. We are lacking in some kind of strategy management, technology awareness, funding of project is a major issue. Network bandwidth infrastructure in many cities don't have the required bandwidth. Government policies are very stringent for the to invite the foreign partners from the abroad. Environmental considerations are the issue. Collaboration of multiple departments is very difficult task in Indian government. So collaborate with different department of information technology, department of police department, RTO. There has a good interaction between all the departments. But we can build a roadmap for safe cities. Every city can have a vision to develop a safe city. We can assess the need. What is the need assessment? Stakeholder involvement. We can involve the various stakeholders' expertise from the abroad and the need scenario. Plan the project, and it can be planned in phasing approach. Then we can implement the project on the pilot basis, on area-based development, and then we can go the pan city system. Continued in planning is very important to make this city complete, and no doubt investment for a sustainable future. So this is the time to start thinking in the direction of safe and smart cities. Smart transport vision, as we are planning the smart cities. So we have envisaged a smart transport vision. It states that segregation of vehicle and pedestrian movement is important to reduce the crashes, especially in the Indian roads. It envisaged a model of 10-90 between private and public transport. We have to reach the level of 90% of share of public transport in smart cities. An effective and convenient mass rapid transit system, planning transit-oriented development where people walk to work, integration of different modes, and finally the aiming zero fatal accident. That will be the smart city which is having zero fatal accident city. That will be the smart city. Smart is not with the infrastructure. If we are leading to the smart city with a fatal zero accident, then our agenda and our objective will be achieved. So I'm talking about my city, Jaipur. Jaipur has taken lead in establishing the command control. So it's one of its kind in India. First one-stop crime control room in Rajasthan under the project Abhay. So there are more than 400 cameras have been set up in the city to capture the data information. So it was just launched in March this year. So they've started using the camera and technology. So what are the highlights? Like real-time monitoring of calls and with analytics, all communication in the call center recording, proactive information sending, facilitation to citizens after authentication to upload video feeds, ad hoc installation of cameras in fairs and festivals, like various festivals and fairs are the common scenario in the Rajasthan. So they can deploy the ad hoc cameras for surveillance. Integration of women helpline 1090 has been integrated with this system, so they can receive and analyze and identify the user. Integration of emergency response system 112 has been integrated with the system. Integration with e-challan system, face recognition system, number plate recognition system, red line violation system. All things have been incorporated in this particular system. So all things can be monitored under the one roof, and the system data information can be analyzed, and action can be taken according to the need of the event. Many road safety apps have been developed, not in India but abroad only. So they are helpful in identifying the emergency situation. The user can take the action as per the need of demand of the situation. So Ministry of MORTH also launched a application called Parivan, so it can be used for road safety features. Recently, a new development like LED lit pavement strips synchronized with traffic lights. It has been deployed in Netherlands just in few months back. just to seeing the needs of the mobile user. As the mobile user increasing day by day, so when they are moving with the mobiles working, so they can just see the lights on the floor, that it's green or it's red. It is synchronized with the signal post. So when signal is green, strip will be green. If when it's red, so no pedestrian can hit the tram or any vehicle moving on it. Recently in Australia, a girl died just because hitting of the tram. So Australian cities, they all started using these LED strips. So mother necessity is the mother of invention. So there is a unisignal concept is introduced recently, a traffic light for color blindness. Most of the people, they have color blindness issue. So the company called Unisignal, they have introduced the Unisignal. So according to shape, they can identify the signal. Like a square, rectangle is green, circular is amber, and triangle is red. So people suffering from the color blindness can use these Unisignals. So need, as per the need, we are devising the devices. So in India, we have devised many, we have taken leads, big initiatives for road safety. Indian government, Ministry of Road and Highways, they have started black spot removal program across the country, and many states taken a lead. They have identified the black spots and now started removing these black spots. Road safety audits now has been become mandatory for big road projects. So now it's a mandatory thing for the construction company or the agency to get the third party road safety audit to get the project cleared from the agencies, and before opening the roads to the users, it should have the road safety audit certification. That only, because otherwise no new road is not always safe. We think that the new blacktop road is constructed, but it's not safe. It's just like a car without a brake. So every person, a commuter, is driving with a high speed on new road. So road safety audit has become mandatory, and as we discussed, building forgiving roads. It's a new concept. We have started building forgiving roads in India. Those who forgive the main agendas, providing infrastructure with minimize the amount of the damage to the user and the vehicle. So in reaction to that, United Nations launched a program called Decade of Action 2011 to 2020. We are working for it. Every country is working for it, and we are aiming that our up to 2020 we have to reduce the road crashes up to 50%. So this is a big symbol of safety, Decade of Action. You must have seen everywhere, Decade of Action for road safety 2020. Together we can save millions of lives. So it's, everyone is a stakeholder in this mission. So developed countries started working on it, and they have declined, reversed this pattern. The number of fatalities have reduced in Australia, Canada, France, Japan, Sweden, United States, and now it's time for India also. And recently in Rajasthan, we have found that there is 4.43 decrease in road crashes last year. So it's a good sign in Indian context also, because in 2004 it was 10,289, and recently in 2016 it comes down to 465. But we can do it. It's not a difficult task. We Indians, once we decided, we can do it. We eradicated polio from India. There is no case found in India after the eradication. WHO declares the India polio free. So we can do it. We can have the aiming zero fatality cities in future. And Govt said the real bottleneck is at delivery and implementation stage. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. So everyone know, but we are not applying it. So way forward, improve road safety management, effective law enforcement using a smart surveillance, adopt intelligence transport system to promote safe cities approach, improve existing infrastructure for go for capacity building of all existing stuff, and you can make the world a better place for all. These words, thank you. Thank you for the
Dr.
opportunity.
Gahlot. Now it's for the audience. You can ask. Yeah. Please introduce yourself and then you ask the question.
Sir, I'm a student. My name is Shavik Bhattacharya. I'm a student of the School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal. My question was regarding the traffic police initiatives that have been taken to reduce the traffic accidents that happen on the roads today. The thing that I want to address is if we are talking about surveillance at all the intersections that are crowded and have a large traffic volume, why not think about the surveillance inside the car like a dashboard camera, like it has been implemented in countries like Russia, which it deletes the ambiguities that can be had after the accident about whose mistake is it, who did the accident. I mean, that can be a huge debating topic when we talk to the police that usne mara ya isne mara, and we get nowhere. So this problem can be eradicated by the use of dashboard cameras. So why hasn't anyone thought about this before, or is it not being able to be implemented? So that's my question.
India is in process of transformation. NCAP, the new car assessment program, is underway, and from the year 2018, there are many developments happening in India. You are right, IDRs, this is called Incident Data Recorder. This is present in all the cars in US and in few European countries. The similar kind of concept may come into India, but may not be immediately. We are just transforming. You can just imagine the Indians buying cars without airbags. An airbag which just costs less than $50. Once you go and buy a car with airbags, that will cost you 100,000 plus. So now all these things have been taken care. The government is in command, and government is trying to implement NCAP by 2018. And I'm sure what you're referring to IDR, this will also be present in the cars as well as the various commercial vehicles. One thing which I missed in my talk when I was talking, you'll be surprised to know 45 to 50% of road crashes are happening due to commercial vehicles. And these commercial vehicles are less than 10% on our roads. And these commercial vehicles are driven by the drivers. In our research in Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, we found they are less than 8 standard pass. So 50% deaths are committed by these illiterate drivers. So literate are getting killed by illiterate people. Gentlemen, the cars per se are responsible for 12% of fatal accidents. So 12% deaths in the overall scenario are contributed by cars, whereas 45 to 50% are contributed by the commercial vehicles. And commercial vehicles, there are too, because of overspeeding. They overspeed and they kill the people. They kill pedestrians, they kill bicyclists, they kill the two-wheelers and stuff like that. So the main focus in India has to be on the driver's training, the enforcement on drugs and drunken driving laws, and overspeeding. Like the theme, the United Nations World, the Road Safety Week theme is slow down. Similarly, the government, the Apex Court, Supreme Court of India has mandated that all the commercial vehicles should be fitted with speed limiting devices. These speed governors should be fitted in all the commercial vehicles, and their speed is fixed at 80 kmph. If a vehicle's maximum speed is fitted at 80 kmph, which will never be achieved, so vehicle will be driven at 60 to 70 kmph, which is reasonably a safe speed. I want to tell you, this similar rule has been passed in United States of America. from October 2016, all the commercial vehicles in United States of America are coming fitted with the speed governors, so that the commercial vehicles are not oversped and they don't kill the people. Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
Dr. Soy, I have a question for you. My name is Sudha Sriram and I'm from Ford Motor Company. I understand your concern for enforcement to improve road safety. What are your thoughts on improving the infrastructure? So what percentage of these accidents are happening in India due to lack of infrastructure? Let's say maybe in front of a school, there is no rule for, having a receiving area or something like that. So all these little kids are, it's on them to be safe. But not just this. This was just one example. But then city planning as such could be improved to make a difference in road safety numbers. So what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. There's hardly any doubt about it. Safe infrastructure is a prerequisite for safer cities and safer urban areas. There's hardly any doubt about it. And infrastructure, specifically the road infrastructure, which in India is very, very poorly designed. Hardly any thought process goes into the designing and laying of the infrastructure, which I have seen in last 3 years. This new government is putting lot of emphasis, whether it is the infrastructure led by NHAI or infrastructure led by the state agencies. Now the focus is shifting from just an infrastructure to a safe infrastructure, to a safer roads, as per the United Nations Decade of Action. And I'm sure this was decided that about 10% of the total the money kept for the road laying will be used for the safety aspects. Like Dr. Gahlot was mentioning, the road safety audit is made mandatory not only after laying the road, but pre-planning, during the construction of the road, after the construction of the road, and the periodic road safety audit. So I'm sure the safe infrastructure will lead to a safer safer city environment, as well as the safer highway environment. Thank you.
Thanks to all panelists for a thought-provoking discussion. Myself, Kaushik Bandopadhyay, Road Safety Officer with Gurugram Police. So it is very interesting, and just one thing I would like to mention to Dr. Soy, to raise in the international arena, that one wrong practice has been accepted by our premium so-called developed countries. That is the synchronization of the road strip with the traffic light. That means we are admitting that when we are on the road, we can check the mobile phone continuously, and someone from the administrative side will help him or her. So you should not be hurt, you should not be knocked. So this kind of thing, if admitted there, that will come to India slowly, and it can create more problem for our roads and the limited traffic police and other enforcing agencies, those who are on the road. So this is my request to all of you. Just think on it once more time.
Will you like to answer this question? Or you want me to? Actually, the connected vehicle technologies, there are various aspects to what you're saying, On one hand, we are trying to see that the driver's area, where the driver is controlling the vehicle, the mobile signal should be jammed. On other side, like you said, we are providing a driver assistance in form of the synchronization of various signals and various other information. We are hammering the driver with various information for various inputs. But I tell you, this will take another 2 to 3 years. This ambiguity will be cleared in various forums, and the standards will be set so that driver assistance should not become a driver's confusion. This is our dilemma also. Phil, you want to add something to that? Yeah, just speak.
Oh, sorry. So what we're doing in the way of mapping in the road network is we're building things like the advanced driver assistance systems. And with that means we're collecting information that makes the car safer, so the car can start to make decisions for you. For example, I'm driving up a hill, it goes over a hill and down, sees the window wipers on. The car knows the slope, the gradient, the curvature of the road. It knows based on the speed and that the window wipers on, that the road's wet and the speed that you're traveling at is not appropriate. So the car will start to slow you down. So what we're seeing is the technologies that are coming to cars today are now starting to correct human error, starting to reduce that, and we're seeing that as an improvement in the road deaths in many countries. Obviously this is really important as this starts to come into India, but India has a challenge because it's got so many old vehicles that are not well maintained. But as these technologies come on, we're working towards, with all our mapping, to autonomous driving. Autonomous driving is this concept of getting to 0 deaths on a road in a year, because we're having cars communicating between each other. A car knows when it's coming up to an intersection what other cars are approaching from the left, from the right, from behind and in front. So the car knows, and it knows what those cars are doing, and it can move that. And I've seen some really smart simulation programs that shows how you can have cars going at very high speed through an intersection because they're all talking to each other and they can get through. So you improve the speed of the network. You then take away the impatience of the driver, and also the car is a lot more alert than a driver. So all these things will significantly improve the driver safety on roads.
But right, you're right. The few things which we are applying in Europe and United States and Australia may not be entirely reliable in India. Reason being, we have a heterogeneous mix of traffic, whereas in countries like US, Australia, the traffic is more or less homogeneous. So in homogeneous environment, the fully automatic cars like the driverless cars can work. But in the environment like ours, it will take another 20 years so that we build the safe infrastructure, we build separate lanes for two-wheelers and cyclists and stuff like that, and then we have more of public transportation, less of the personal use cars on the roads, to implement the driverless cars and more advanced driving assistance programs. But still, you'll find that you have cruise control, you have driver assistance coming from various VMS, very message services and stuff like that, which will be integrated and definitely will result into safer vehicles. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. This is Sejal from School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi. So, Dr. Suri, sir, I wanted to have your take on how people's attitude is related to traffic management, in the sense that, as you know, that the attitude of typical Indians is basically to have more and more cars as basically as a symbol status, and how this will like in respect to the increase in vehicular population, and ultimately it increases the traffic. So how do you think it is related, and how do you think we can solve this problem by going at the grassroots level of individual level?
What is your question? I didn't get your question properly.
I meant to say that how can traffic management be solved by solving the attitude of the typical Indian people who have a typical attitude of buying more and more cars so as to have a symbol status.
I tell
And
you,
maybe
I got your questions now. I tell you, it is not about the having more cars. India is a country with a per capita very less number of cars. But still, whenever I go to Europe or US, I always find everybody in the world, our human trait is a rebel. We are basically rebels. Until and unless we are controlled, we will keep doing whatever we want to do on the roads. Whether with the roads or with the women's safety or blah, blah, blah. We are rebels basically. We have to be controlled. Developed countries who are able to reduce number of accidents, the focus have been on enforcement. Whether the enforcement through ITS or through the manpower enforcement. If we are for behavior change, two fears are very, very important to be created. One fear is FOBC, fear of being caught. Second fear is FOBP, fear of being punished. If we are able to create these two fears, we can have a change of behavior in the mindset of the people. Rest, as the DPI goes up, if you have more disposable personal income, as well as the bank starts giving us more loans, we will keep on acquiring new assets. Like India has 70% of two-wheelers and 20% of cars. What we do is, from two-wheeler, we graduate to a four-wheeler. When you buy a car, we buy from a two-wheeler. So, from a two-wheeler to a Maruti, from a Maruti to a different car. Like this used to be the standard some few years back. So this will keep on happening. But because of the transparency coming in our financial sector, because of demonetization, because of surgical strike, because of the income tax looking at your returns and stuff like that, because of the public transport, I believe that maybe the metro running in Delhi might have stopped few people to buy cars. Metro running up in Jaipur might have, the number of cars buyers would have been less. Similarly, if we have more public transport, the number of cars may be less. I'm not saying people don't buy cars. I have example of a country called Netherlands, where the total population of Netherlands is 22 million, and the number of cars is around 18 millions. But they still like to go on a bicycle. They still like to take a public transport and go. There, the European model is, if you want to go from 0 to 3 kilometers, you just walk. If you want to go from 0 to 5, you do a bicycle. 0 to 10, you take a public transport. And if you want to go out of the city, then only you take out your vehicle. But in India, even if we want to go and buy a grocery or X, we take our car and we go and buy grocery or X. So maybe this kind of thinking process will be changed through different policies, like, although it didn't work much, you have odd and even working in Delhi. It failed in many other countries, but somehow it was working in Delhi. Like Sheila Dikshit sometimes said, if you have parking space for one car, you will be allowed one car. If you have parking space for two cars, you will be allowed two cars. Similarly, this kind of, like I tell you, Europe is a very big example of high parking rates. If you go and park a car in UK, maybe for an hour, you have to shell out around $20, 20 pounds. Similarly, in other European countries, if the parking rate goes up, the car's usage will come down. So maybe we have to create an ecological balance. We cannot just keep on buying cars and cars and cars and cause pollution and stuff like that. Maybe this kind of good transport policies, more public transportation, will discourage buying more cars. Thank you. Yeah.
Good evening to the panelists, and thank you for the educational session. My name is Suhas Sharma, and I would like to ask, whenever an incident occurs on the roads, for example, a motor accident, the authorities are more or less dependent on human feedback to receive intimation that, that an accident has occurred. In addition to that, due to the unavailability of real-time data to the traffic to the vehicle drivers, it leads to log jams due to the accident. Is there a way that live traffic analysis can alert the authorities immediately as the accident occurs, in addition to providing an alternate route so that's to prevent blockage and traffic jams?
Yes, so the answer to that is very simple. That is exactly what we are doing. So what I was trying to present earlier is it's totally automated system. So we can see as soon as the traffic flow slows down. And as soon as we see that, our system automatically creates an incident. So it's monitoring that right across India right now. Right? And so we create that event. That event can then get published directly to the road controlling authority, to the traffic police, to whoever wants to be in the area of traffic management to take appropriate action. So we're highlighting it, we're flagging it immediately. That's within 2 minutes of that occurring. All right? So then it's up to the agencies then to take the appropriate action. Now, they can do things like, for example, maybe they can rephase the traffic lights. Maybe they can send somebody out if they need to. We can also broadcast alternative routes. So the question is, how do we get that to the driver? So we either can do that through an appropriate free app. We can do it maybe through VMS signs on the road if that's appropriate. Highlight from where that is, but it depends where that the size of the jam and how far going back. We're also, in our systems, automatically working out by seeing the trending of the size of the jam to then do a prediction on where it's going to cure. Then on top of all that, you can then do the historical analysis. So you can then review yesterday's performance and come up with better strategies on how to actually address that better the next day.
Actually, we do not have the connected vehicles as of now in India. And we do not have a single number like in Europe and US and in other countries. That number can be used as ICE in case of emergency. We do not have that number. So until unless we have that kind of a number and connected vehicles, this kind of arrangements may not be worked out. Right now it is the first responders. Who is the first responder? In UK, they have a concept of first responders. You immediately respond to to inform to the authorities, and one single call gets circulated to all the agencies, to the fire brigade, to the ambulance, to police, to the civic authorities, so that once at one call, everybody is informed of an incident. But here, the government is working on it, and maybe in next few months' time, you'll find a single number which is integrated to all the emergency response teams. But you might have seen in last 2-3 years, the response time is considerably reduced as far as the medical assistance is concerned. Now medical assistance, I've seen, been into various states, we get medical assistance in less than 20 minutes, which is good enough. And the response time in UK is around 23 minutes. So maybe in India, we are working towards a system which can be, like Dr. Gahlot said, there's a hope that we will be a safe country on the roads in the future. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now we come to the close of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a great session. Now I would like to invite Dr. Kamal Soi to felicitate our speakers. Mr. Phil Allen. Dr. V.K. Gahlot. Now I would like to call Mr. Prince Singh to felicitate Dr. Kamal Soi on behalf of Exhibitions India Group.